What's up everybody, welcome back to Nintendo Land, and today I have another interesting Kirby and the Forgotten Land video for you guys. So, if you haven't seen my recent videos, I have two videos where I kind of made new copy abilities for Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So far, I'm about 20 deep of old copy abilities, and I even gave them 3 evolutions, but before I continue adding new copy abilities, I kind of wanted to see what it would be like if I added copy abilities based on characters that didn't have them in the game already. And today, I'm mainly focusing on the bosses. What if Kirby could actually capture the different bosses of the game and gain an ability that they have? Kirby can already do this with Meta Knight and also do this with Forgo DDD and his mask with hammers, so what if you could do it with all the other bosses as well? So today, I have 8 new transformation copy abilities for Kirby from bosses in the game. Real quick before we get started, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Kirby and Nintendo in general, and let's get on to our list. First on our list, we have Gormando. Now, Gormando is going to be based off of fighting Kirby. Now, once again, I'm going to say real quick, I'm sorry for these drawings. Some of these are really just not great. Some of them are a lot better than others, but I gave them an effort, okay? I'm not a super artist or anything like that. But Gormando, it kind of gives him the garb of like the fur and of course his mohawk and stuff, but he will have incredibly strong punches just like fighting Kirby. Maybe he can even throw rocks and boulders and stuff as a projectile, but of course his main capabilities is punching really hard. He'll have combo punches, and maybe he can even do the spin move where Gormando can spin around Kirby and try to knock into him. Next up, we have Tropic Woods Kirby. Now this gives him all the leaves on his head and roots around his feet, and of course his little beard as well. But this allows Kirby to have kind of a similar power to the leaf ability in the past, where he can swirl around, maybe bring up leaves from the ground, maybe bring up roots all around him as he twirls around, and just kind of gust of wind around him. Maybe Kirby can also shoot out giant gusts of wind the same way Tropic Woods does, and maybe throw giant coconuts. That would be pretty cool as well. They could also work as a type of explosive, almost like bomb as well, where giant coconuts will roll out and he can just kind of roll them at enemies and blow up. But I think the root thing would be really cool, just roots growing around Kirby, protecting him, and even being his shield would be pretty cool. Or maybe his shield could just be a giant fence that Kirby can pull up and block himself from attacks. That would be cool. Next up, we have Clawline. Now, this one we had to give kind of Kirby a vibe that she had. So we gave her ears, the same claws and everything, but the main focus is the claws. The claws is going to kind of make it an animal copy ability. Yes, that was a copy ability in the past. Animal allowed Kirby to use his claws and also dig underground, which was pretty cool. I guess technically it's kind of similar to drill, but you get what I'm saying. This will allow Kirby to go up and slash enemies and do different slashing combos and maybe even lash towards them the way Clawline does towards Kirby. He can also be able to shoot different types of knives and stuff at his opponents, and maybe he can even spawn multiple copies of himself the same way Clawline does, and kind of confuse his enemies with 3 different Kirbys on the battlefield, but of course, only one is the correct one. Obviously, the most powerful attack of this whole thing is going to be the claw melee attack. It's going to do a lot of damage if you can finish off the entire combo. Next up, we have Silly Dillo Kirby, and this will give him a wheel ability. Yes, I know animal would work with a lot of these, but I'm not going to give all the Beast Pack animals because it would just make too much sense. So, we have Wheel Kirby because Silly Dillo loves to roll around, and it just makes a lot of sense. Kirby can get into the shell and just kind of roll all over the stage and use it as kind of also a speed device where he gets to just blast through levels. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, I gave him the little tongue that Silly Dillo has and the nose. Yeah, I just thought it would look cute on him. But with that, I don't know what else he would really be able to do. Maybe he has a close-up melee attack where he can just swing a cage and catch enemies, shake them around, and throw them out or something. But for the most part, that's about it. I guess he could also spawn like a dummy Kirby and swing and dance with it. But I like the wheel idea of him just rolling around as a super powerful ball a lot better. Now we have the battle against Leongar, because we get to turn into Leongar Kirby. Now, once again, this one was hard. I didn't know where to put this one. Lots of these bosses actually fall under a good category of past Kirby abilities, but this one would also just be animal in my opinion, just same as Clawline, and that's why both of them rule the animal kingdom here in this world, because they both have those animal instincts and attacks as well, where Leongar just uses bigger and stronger claw swipes the way Clawline uses faster, smaller, swiftier ones. So yep, it would just be a stronger form of animal that's more based on power than agility. Besides claw swipes, Kirby will be able to lunge forward with his claw swipes and also shoot out laser projectiles the same way that Leongar can, and maybe there's an ability where he gets to charge up, but it takes a very, very long time, and he can blast a giant laser out of him. Now, I know this isn't Leongar himself, this is also the help of Forgo, but I would love to see Kirby just blast out that giant purple laser and even make a sound like, ah, or he starts screaming or something. That would be really cool. Yep, you're seeing this correctly. What if Kirby was able to copy Ffecto Forgo? Yep, it would be a disgusting, nasty mess, but it would be pretty cool, let's be honest. What if he had the ability to kind of like grab different enemies and just suck them in and just maybe get bigger or something as he did so? I think that would be cool, but the main ability I think this resonates with me the most is Poison. Poison Kirby actually comes from Kirby Planet Robobot, and I would love to see it return. We haven't really seen it come back yet, and I think this was a perfect way to do so, because he also does shoot out poison goop all at Kirby, so it would make sense if Kirby could do the same and just infect people with his own poison, or pull people in with those weird poison tentacles that Ffecto Forgo had. Ugh, it's still disgusting either way, but yeah, I had to make a copy ability for it. Next up, we have yet again another copy ability from Planet Robobot coming back in the form of ESP and Forgo ESP. So, we did get to see Forgo come out for a little bit in his half state, I guess you could say, where he was infested all inside of Leongar. And it was his job to do all the big explosions and ESP powers, while Leongar did all the melee attacks. So, what if Kirby can actually suck up Forgo? I mean, it looked like we was about to fight the solo Forgo until Morpho Knight stepped up, but yeah, I think this would be really cool to give Kirby different type of psychic ESP powers, just like in the past game. So maybe Kirby can shoot out different types of energy spheres, and maybe giant energy blasts that cover the arena, maybe different types of lightning or different static electricity that comes out like he does against Kirby and causes all these different shockwaves across the ground and lightning to appear out of the sky. That would be really cool, and that would be an extremely cool way to bring back ESP, since it's technically already implemented in one of the bosses. And finally, you guys probably knew this was coming. Of course, we have Ffecto Elfleus. Ffecto Elfleus is an incredible boss fight to fight against, and of course he has tons of power, so this ability would be one of the most strongest abilities up there with the Morpho Knight sword. Now, what is this exactly? Well, he has a spear, so of course it would work great as Ffecto Elfleus Spear. That would be pretty daggone insane. Yep, this spear is capable of doing almost everything that Ffecto Elfleus can do. Kirby can lunge forward super fast with the spear, he can just stab it like crazy and swing it around the way Ffecto Elfleus does like crazy. He can also shoot different projectiles and light beams out of it towards his enemies, and they home in and attack his enemies. He shields for a certain amount of time and charges up an ability which allows him to actually heal himself. It takes like 10 seconds, so it's hard to get off, but it's definitely worth it. If he can pull it off, he can heal over half of his health. That would be really cool. Along with his projectiles, he could also shoot a massive laser that goes for a certain amount of time. But what if Kirby could open up his own mini-dimensional rift and just bring out tons of either enemies from the past or just different objects from space like meteorites the way Ffecto Elfleus did, and just throw them at enemies? That would be really cool, and honestly, a rift ability would be kind of its own ability in its own. You know, I gotta kind of think about that in the future. Those are all the bosses. I know we have the second form of Ffecto Elfleus, which is like Ffecto Elfleus' soul almost, but I'm not going to include it because, you know, it's generally just a giant ball. I probably would just be ESP again or something. Yeah, not worth it. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you really enjoyed this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Kirby and the Forgotten Land and Nintendo in general, and maybe I'll continue making even more Kirby copy abilities I haven't covered yet, because this has been a lot of fun. But you guys let me know what you think down below, and thank you so much for tuning in. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.